All right, let's go ahead and go over last night's homework, starting with number 1. So this is a 45, 45, 90. And so if this is 4, one of the legs is 4, makes this other leg 4, not that you needed that. But then the next one is 4 square roots of 2 for the hypotenuse. Same thing here. This leg is 6, it makes the hypotenuse 6 square roots of 2. Number 3, we have the hypotenuse is 3 square roots of 2, which makes that side just 3. Number 4, once we see it's 5 and 5, that makes this isosceles, which makes these congruent to each other, so they're both 45s. And then this would be 5 root 2. Number 5, if this is 2, then it means that these, whatever this is equal to x times root 2. So you would divide by root 2. So that would give you x equals 2 over root 2. Now technically you can't have a root in the denominator, so you have to rationalize. Multiplied by square root of 2 over square root of 2. So it gives you 2 roots of 2 over 2, or just square root of 2. Number 6, here these are both the same. This is 9 roots of 2, which makes this just 9. All right, moving on to the 30, 60, 90s. You start with the shortest side. Shortest side times 2 gives you the hypotenuse, so that would make this 4. And then times the square root of 3 gives you the longer leg, so that would be 2 root 3. Here we have 6. Divide that by 2. You get 3 for the short leg. Long leg is 3 times the square root of 3. Here you have square root of 3 for the long leg, which means the short leg is just 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Here this is 10. Divide by 2 to get the short leg, which is 5. 5 times the square root of 3 is the long leg. Here you have 7 for the short leg. Multiply that by the square root of 3 to get the long leg. Multiply that by 2 to get the hypotenuse. You're done. Here you have 6 roots of 3 for the long leg. So the short leg is dividing by the square root of 3. Then to find the hypotenuse, you multiply by 2. These are all pretty easy once you figure out the pattern and the way it works. All right, copy and complete the table. If x is 2, then y is 2 square roots of 2. If y is the square root of 2, you divide by square root of 2 to get 1. If x is 4, y would be 4 square roots of 2. If y is 3 square roots of 2, then x is just 3. And if x is 7, that would be 7 square roots of 2. If a is 5, that makes b 5 roots of 3. And c would be 10. If this is 2 roots of 3, that makes a 2. And then you do 2 times 2 to get 4 for the hypotenuse. If the hypotenuse is 8, cut that in half to get a, or the short side, which would be 4. Then multiply that by the square root of 3 to get the long side. If that's 6, that makes this 6 roots of 3, and this 12. And if this is 22, that makes a 11, and makes this 11 roots of 3. So these are pretty simple. Find the value of each variable, write your answers in simplest form. This is an isosceles triangle, which means that this is 10, and this is 10 roots of 2. And those are both simplest form. If this is 30, it makes this 60 and 90, because it has the box. So you do 12 times the square root of 3 for this, and 12 times 2, or 24 for P. Here you have 60, which makes this 30. So side M is your short side. You divide 16 by 2 to get 8 for the short side. Then this is just 8 roots of 3. 45, 45, 90. You got to divide 15 by the square root of 2. Then you multiply by square root of 2 over 2. You get 15 roots of 2 over 2 for your final answer. And then x is exactly the same thing, 15 roots of 2 over 2. Number 19, this is 4 root 3, which makes that 4. Double that, and you get 8. Your long side is 5, which means we do 5 divided by the square root of 3. I have to rationalize the denominator. So you get 5 roots of 3 over 3. For m is 5 root of 3 over 3. Then to make your hypotenuse, you have to multiply that by 2. So you just multiply that 5 by 2. It becomes 10 roots of 3 over 3. And the diagrams to the right, which side length is the longest? That would be A and B are exactly the same length. So we know it's neither of those. Then for this one, it would be A times the square root of 2. And to find D, we would multiply A times the square root of 3. Square root of 3 is bigger than the square root of 2, so your answer is D. A 24-foot long bleacher stand has a base angle of 30 degrees. How high above the ground is the last row of seating? So it's 24 feet long going down the hypotenuse. So you divide that by 2, it's 12 feet high. Baseball. The baselines of the baseball field form a square. The distance from home plate to first base is 90 feet. Use the diagram at the right. Round decimal answers to the nearest inch. What is the distance from home plate to second base? So if this is 90, it makes this 90 as well. And so this would be 90 times the square root of 2. Which we would just do that in the calculator. 90 times the square root of 2. That gives 127.279, blah, blah, blah. Which would be 127 feet, 3 inches. What is the distance from third base to first base? That would be exactly the same thing. 127 because this would be 90 as well. So it's really your diagonals would be exactly the same because it's a square. The pitcher's mound is 60 feet, 6 inches from home plate. So this is 60 feet, 6 inches from home. Is it the midpoint of the diagonal? So if we're looking at the midpoint of the diagonal, that would be cutting that 127 feet in half, and 60 foot 6 inches is not the midpoint of 127. Midpoint of 127 foot 3 inches. Just do 127 divided by 2. So it'd be 63 and a half feet for the 127. So that would be 63 and 6 inches. But then you have to take half of the 3 inches as well, so 63 foot 7.5 inches. Sorry. And that's it. Alright, that's it for this one. It's pretty easy. Nice little way to finish the year, this chapter. For those of you moving on to pre-calc next year, it's going to be a huge help. So